Hey, it's hot. It sounds like it's raining outside because it is, but all day long it's been like massively hot. It's the first summer days of the year, and it's May, and it was unbearably hot yesterday. It was even hotter today. It's not as hot as it is in some places of the country, but man, was it! It was just the first rude awakening of hot temperatures. And so I thought what we would do would be, I don't know, make some drinks that go with hot, humid weather, because that seems to be a thing that we're going to be needing more and more of going forward.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is that these drinks are almost always simple, right? They're not something that's going to take you a long time to make, that you're going to be sweeping sweat off your brow as you put these things together, because who wants to do that, right? While you're trying to make a tasty little cocktail for somebody to just kick their feet back and go, wow, I'm glad I have air conditioning and, first world problems and that sort of thing.
We have a Colleen.
We have a Colleen,
We have a
yay!
Greg.
We have a Greg, yay!
Elizabeth says greetings from North Carolina.
Oh, in North Carolina.
Colleen.
North Carolina.
Air conditioner compressor is broken.
Well, that's a poor choice of time to have an air compressor broken. So what I'm going to do is show you how to get cool without an air compressor, right?
I will also let her know we have a guest room.
We do, in fact, have guest rooms. So what am I doing here? I'm trying to crack some ice. So I said when we started this mess today that I didn't need any crushed ice. And I really don't. I just want to crack it a little bit rather than have some big chunks here. Now, there's already something in these drink glasses because we have to toast, right? That's what we do here. We start with a toast. We bend my spoon. Wow, this ice is really, really wet. Come on. It's like,
Curacao says hi.
hey, Curacao?
Yeah.
That's got to be Matt and Gabby.
Yeah.
All right.
And we have a Ruth.
Hi, Ruth. How's our old house, Ruth? Ruth was longtime tenant in our old house before she got around to buying it, so it's very kind of cool that that house is sort of, I don't know, for all intents and purposes, kind of staying in the family. Yeah. There you go. Little crushed ice. Not crushed, cracked ice. Like, well, what's in that? Okay, so there is a classic drink that is really, really just immaculately simple. It is nothing but Wray and Nephew overproof Jamaican rum and Ting soda. And before I could actually get Wray and Nephew rum and Ting soda, I was actually using grapefruit soda from, I think, Bundaberg, and using the Navy Strength rum from Cotton and Reed, which is a local distiller around here. And so what we're going to toast with this evening is my version of the Wray and Ting. Now that I have access to Ting, we're going to go ahead and use it, but we're still going to use the Cotton and Reed Navy Strength rum because it's pretty awesome rum, and they're local and awesome, and we like them. So here we go. I'm just going to top up a little bit of this with some Ting. I will stick this in here and just...
Your Wray and Ting brings all the girls to the bar?
Apparently. Ramalama Ting Tong or something. I don't know. So here you go. Here is a Cotton and Reed and Ting. Everybody in. Everybody in. So what are we toasting to? We are toasting to games of Legendary that we just can't seem to win. So we've played...
And being able to game with people again.
Yes.
Definitely cheers to that.
So we played 3 games of Legendary against the same villain in the same scheme and lost each time. And the first time was the closest we've come, and we haven't been even close ever since.
That's good. Mighty tasty, thank you.
And that's an overproof rum that's in there. It just works extremely well with the Ting soda, which is at its base a grapefruit soda. If anybody wants the rest of the grapefruit soda, you can take it back to the table.
Thank you.
So toast! A toast to currently being out of the doldrums of anything that even remotely looks like winter. Although we are storming now outside. There is rain just kind of gushing down in buckets. So oddly enough, we had to do some housework today in the sense of, not real housework, but we were on the main floor playing games, and we came down here to get things started, and it was freezing down here because all the vents were open and all the air conditioning was being pumped into the lowest floor of the building, which doesn't make any sense. So we closed up all the vents in here, and I actually opened the door so that we can get some warmth in here, because this shirt is not very thick. These shorts are not very thick, and brr! And that would be really hard to play off the I'm freezing cold, but it's so hot outside. Yeah, that was not going to work. So here we go. So what do you want from a warm weather or hot weather cocktail? Well, ideally, I think in most cases you want something that is a relatively low ABV. You don't want anything really too heavy. You want to be able to have it really chilled and cold and cool and refreshing. And you want to be able to ingest a fair amount of it without ever getting too tipsy. What?
Keith says in Messenger.
Hi, Keith.
Hello.
Keith, what'd you do now, man?
I'm banned again.
I think that would be a great name for a music band. I'm banned again. Yeah, there you go. Facebook banned me again. Well, at least Keith can see, and if he wants to message us and put anything in the comments, he can message Star, and they will show up in the comments. By the way, I'm Pooch. The lovely young lady that was here with the silver hair is my wife, Star. And the lovely young lady that was sitting in the middle right here is Amanda, good friend of ours from the Geek Talk days, and has journeyed with us to Tiki Convention and Vegas, was with us in Vegas. She left her gallbladder in Vegas. Yes. Oh, what an interesting trip that was.
Yeah. Toasting to being able to drink again.
Toasting to be able to drink
Oh, we did
again.
her makeup exam.
We gave her a makeup exam. That's true. We went to a show in town called Erotic. Not erotic, but erotic. And it was mostly aerial stuff, like on the silks and that sort of thing. But there was a lot of strength and contortionist work. And yeah, it was just a tad on the erotic side. Tad on the erotic side. Yeah, that's not your cup of tea. Don't go to see this. If it is your cup of tea, it was remarkably fun, right? Remarkably fun. I need one more glass of that nature. I knew I had a third one right here. I just can't see in my own cupboard.
And it's a bit homoerotic.
It is. It's a bit, if that bothers you, as Star said, it's a bit on the homoerotic side. So if that bothers you, yeah. Hey, they're not doing it with you. Who cares, right? All right. So what are we going to do? Okay, we are going to do 3 different versions of a Spritz. And we are going to use the exact same measurements for them. But we have 3 different liqueurs that we are going to put in them to see how things work out. So usually what you do is you throw some ice in the glasses, and then you'll throw some liqueur of some sort in there. Not usually a heavy spirit. We're talking somewhere at the low end, like 11%, high ends, 20, 25% maybe. And then you're going to top that with some ice, some Prosecco, and a little bit of soda water or club soda just to lengthen it out a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. We are going to put some ice in there. Each one of these guys. Such. And in the the true way of a person that is getting older in life, I have no idea if I've told this story before or not, and I probably have, that Star and I were lucky enough in the before times to go to Rome, and we were sitting there in front of one of the great landmarks in Rome, across the street from it, sipping a Campari Spritz and an Aperol Spritz and going, oh, I wonder what the plebeians are doing this time of year. It was just so awesome on one hand, and B, just like, wow, we're privileged. And we are, and we acknowledge that, but doesn't mean we can't still have our fun. So what do I want to do with these? We're going to do 3 different variations on the Spritz. One is the classic Aperol Spritz, and the Aperol clocks in at a whopping 11%. I'm going to put that over here. So this is not going to be very potent in its jab you in the gut. Then we are going to use the Pasubio Vino Amaro, and this clocks in at 17%. We're going to put that here because it's going to be that kind of color. Right. And then last but not least, we're going to do, hey, as long as you're talking about sitting around Rome drinking spritzes, you might as well try an Italica Spritz. This one comes in at 20%, though. So that one's going to be a little rough as far as the Spritz goes. What are our proportions? Proportions for so depending upon what you're using, you can always move around these proportions how you like. You can lengthen it with more Prosecco or less Prosecco, or more club soda or less club soda. But the easy way to remember this drink is as a 3-2-1 drink. 3 ounces of Prosecco, 2 ounces of your liqueur, and 1 ounce of club soda. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put 2 ounces of each one of these in our glass. There you go. There. I have not opened any of these bottles. That's a cap on the floor. Excuse me. Ta-da! So we're going to go 2 ounces Aperol. And yeah, I think the right thing to do here is rinse this.
Yeah.
There we go. And then we will rinse that out with my genuine Gilman House bar cloth. We've got 2 ounces of the Italicus. These are, the spritzes can be served in almost any glass you'd like. They are classically served in a big bowl glass, like an Italian red wine glass. We're not doing that this evening. We're serving them in these nice little goblet type things. Rinse this. I am assuming that the Pasubio is going to have the most potent flavor, which is why I'm going with that last. Oh yeah. We're still doing 2 ounces, which means this could be, this could be tough. But one of the other major versions of the Spritz is a Campari Spritz, and a Campari Spritz is a pretty, Campari's pretty bitter. So I'm thinking if you can handle the Campari, you can probably handle the Pasubio. Okay, we need 3 ounces of Prosecco. And we had the joy of opening a bottle of Prosecco this evening and realizing that it was in fact already open, and I had no idea how long it had been open. Amanda said, well, you're not just going to throw that out. I said, okay. So she threw herself upon that, took a sip and said, no, I'm not. And so that went down the drain. Having trouble with the foil here. That's interesting. It's a perforated foil, but yeah, there we go. Ta-da! I should do this. Always put your thumb over the cage, especially when you're going to be loosening that cage. There we go. All right, you can pull the foil off.
Unless you have a really weak thumb like mine, then
don't do that.
put your palm over it.
Right, but all right. Well, there's supposedly a little twisty, don't do this. Little flimsy plastic film that you're supposed to be able to pull and rip the foil with. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. All right. This is to bottling manufacturers, not anybody else. All right. Okay. What? Amanda's like got her hands over her ears, like this is gonna explode or something.
It does in the movies.
It
It's
does
not
in
a
the
movie.
movies. And if it's exploding, people aren't doing it right. So, here you go. You got the bottle. You get your hand on the cork. What you can do is just twist. They always show them pulling the cork out and there being this great big pop.
It's not scary. No, it's not.
You can feel it beginning to push. There you go. It's just a little kiss. That's all it is.
Everything I know from the movies.
It should come out just like a little kiss. It should not come out like a kiss. Dude, no, stop that. All right. So we're gonna go here. But Pooch, I thought you said 3 ounces of Prosecco. Good. It's just easier to do it this way. Come back. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Here's our 3 ounces or 9 ounces of Prosecco. And then
Elizabeth says, I don't get nervous unless someone pulls out a saber. I would say yes, unless it's Alton or Ursula.
Ursula was there. Ursula knows how to do it.
And Susie Haslow says, that was a scary kiss.
Trying to see. There is a seam here on the glass. So you could, in fact, have sabered this bottle. But if you're going to saber a bottle, the other thing is you want to take off all of this foil. Because you need to have it slide along the glass. If I did it on the foil, it's just going to catch, and then it would be nasty and put a nick in your blade and that sort of thing. It shouldn't put a nick in your... If it puts a nick in your blade, you need a better blade. Right. I just juiced up this soda water just before. Yeah, that's right. So we're going to go 1 ounce. And we're going to go 1 ounce.
Elizabeth says, yeah, my human, every time.
You're human every time
Brings out
sabering?
the saber,
Oh,
because Alton told him to.
cork, go away. Alright, we're just going to give that a little stir. What I really need is like a glass of water up here that I can just dip things in. Like such. At least that's an easy fix, right?
Yeah.
Do that. And then there's the Vesuvio. All right. Now you can gussy this up however you want in terms of garnishes. Classically, orange slice goes really well with these. We're going to stick a dehydrated lemon peel in there. These were given to me by a friend.
Would be Colleen.
Would be Colleen, yes. I have plenty of these lying around, but as long as the bag was here, I thought I would use the bag, right? Makes sense. We can go ahead and if you wanted, you can do a lime or orange wedge or whatever in here. You can toss a couple of like tops of limes in there like such. Just to give it a little spritz of that. And there you go. And these drinks are classically just sipped without a straw, unless you have like a really big bowl glass and you're all drinking out of the same one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do, I'll take a sip out of this one, the Aperol. Seems like a fine little spritz to me. And Metallicus. Metallicus sucks. You people should avoid doing that. Or better yet, do it and just send them to me, right?
Just do.
Oh, that's...
Yes. Straw. That's fine.
You want a straw or just drink out of it?
You want a straw?
This is Prosecco?
This
They're all
is
Prosecco.
the Aperol.
That's the Aperol.
Oh, it's Aperol. Sorry. Right.
Mm. That tastes like our cruise in the
Yes.
Mediterranean.
Yep.
As the Italicus?
Mm-hmm.
Never had Italicus before. It's like licorice.
It's a
No, it's
bergamot.
not. What?
Bergamot.
Yeah, it is. It is not licorice. Here, grab that. Italicus.
Oh, I like that. Kathy, have Huey make you one of these.
Yeah. Hmm? Very orangey, right?
Orange, yes.
Yep.
Citrus, yes.
Yeah.
And then we have the Pasubio, which should be kind of grapey and winey.
Yes. Like wine.
It's like a. It's very winey.
Yeah,
It's very
but then-
carbonated wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's almost like a red wine, which is
Mhm.
my least favorite. So I'll go with the Italicus, this one, and then that one.
I'm not in love with that one.
Yeah,
Great.
that's my
Mhm.
my least favorite.
So you get that one.
Yeah, I think we could.
We'll take these.
Yes.
I like that a little. I'm liking that a little more now that I've let it sit for a moment. Yeah, just different tastes, different flavors for different people. I do think that maybe we could back off the Pasubio a little bit in here, and maybe add a second spirit to this. Maybe a little of the Italicus to go with this would probably be just fine. So you go, 3 ounces Prosecco, 2 ounces of the spirit or liqueur of your choice, and then 1 ounce of soda water or whatever to lengthen it however you would like. I could always take,
Very refreshing.
yeah, hugely refreshing. I'm going to add like another ounce or so there just to break up the, because it just accentuates the grapiness of the Prosecco. So it's maybe not a brilliant suggestion, but hey, I wanted to try the Prosubio. So imminently drinkable. I think better with a little more soda water in it. But anyway, there you go. There's a Spritz. 3, 2, 1. Easy. You're not going to break the bank. You're not going to get all sweaty throwing together massive amounts of cocktails. You can always prep. I mean, I'm not sure what there is to prep on these. You know, throw some ice in a glass and then. It didn't take me very long to do 3 of these, right? And I was using 3 different base spirits, so easy enough. Okay, so what else can you do on days when it's just extravagantly hot and nasty? Well, there is always the tried and true daiquiri, right? The nice thing about daiquiris is that you can use whatever syrup you want in them. Now, classically, they're done with just a simple syrup, a plain old ordinary simple syrup. It's clear as you can get it, a crystal clear white or maybe a little like hay-colored rum of some sort, and a little lime juice. What? Apparently, somebody has an opinion about daiquiris. Oh, I don't know what that is. But, you know, it is Quarantiki. We are kind of obligated to use rum at some point. So I thought what I would do is make up 3 different daiquiris for us. And we're going to do exactly the same thing we did with the Spritzes. We're going to do 3 different cocktails and people are going to take whichever one they want. Amanda brought us a wonderful grape syrup made with real grapes, right? We think they're reddish grapes, right? If you take a drink, you get kind of that little bit of tannin off of like the grape skin. Yes, there's all sorts of flames and smoke, and because there's no flames, it's just smoke. I don't know why I'm like, what's on fire? No, I know why. It was all Brooke that did that. Anyway, so what are you going to do in order to make a daiquiri? If you're interested, by the way, in history of a daiquiri, there are innumerable places where you can get that online, including, I believe, an early episode of Quarantiki where I talked about history of daiquiris, and we did multiple daiquiris, including a Hemingway daiquiri and that sort of thing. Usually daiquiris are made with a lightly aged or unaged rum. You can play around with that. If you don't care about the color of your daiquiri, go ahead, use a barrel-aged rum. Go wild, grab the oldest Foursquare you got on the shelf and rock on. We're not going to do that this evening. But we are going to use 3 different rums. And unfortunately, one of the rums is over there somewhere. It is the Probitas. It should be somewhere in the far right-hand column. Ow. That's my shoulder.
I think
So-
it's behind it, isn't it?
All right, so what are we going to do? We are going to grab the syrup. Here is our red grape syrup right there. And we are going to, my favorite proportion for daiquiris, by the way, is my cat falling off of something. Okay, the cat's got behind the games on the game rack and just knocked one over. How cute. They're so cute. We love them. They're so cute. All right, we're going to go 3/4 of an ounce. My favorite proportion to start with any daiquiri, and then to play with it from there, is 3/4 of an ounce of your syrup, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, and then 2 ounces of your spirit. If my dear loving wife cannot find the Probitas, it may mean that we do not have an open bottle of Probitas, or it could mean that I didn't look on my back shelf over here to see if I had an open bottle of Probitas already. I do not. There's not a Probitas bottle up here. If you do not find it, we will jump to a different rum.
I'm not finding it.
I have a couple of other places the Probitas could be. I'm not worried about it. I know I have another bottle of Probitas lying around. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and do the 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. Now, I had some fairly old lime juice, like several days old, and I just had Amanda squeeze like 4 limes, get the juices out of them into here. And so we have some mix of some old and new lime juice. There's 3/4. 3/4 and 3/4. Next up, the rums. This is an easy 3-ingredient cocktail: lime juice, syrup, rum, ice, if you want to count, if you want to be pedantic about the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do Probitas. I'm going to do the high-end Probitas rum. Higher end Probitas rum.
It makes a great daiquiri.
It does make a great daiquiri. We were at, oh, that's right, the 3 of us were actually at Archipelago after we went to Erotic. And there was, John was making daiquiris, well, made a daiquiri with the Rivers Haitian rum, which is just incomparably funky. This is not going to be nearly that funky. This is a mix of Foursquare Barbadian rum and Jamaican rum. It is really, really quite good. I love the way it works in daiquiris. It is not the cheapest of your rums. I mean, this is clocking in at about a $40 bottle. So, and that's, I think that's local Virginia prices. If you're in the district, it'll probably be a little more. So we're going to go 2 ounces of Probitas. But Pooch, I thought you said you were going to differ, do slightly different cocktails here. What is it, cats? Knocking things over. I am indeed. The second rum that we are going to use is a product of Dominica, excuse me, not Dominica, the Dominican Republic, and that is Baku's white rum. Now, Star really, really loves Baku rums in almost any form and type they have. Their white rum is, if I remember right, unaged. It does not say on the bottle. I thought it was unaged. Eco-minded, 43%, etc., etc. We're going to go 2 ounces here. I find Baku a little on the sweet side, but my wife likes things on the sweet side, so there you go. That'll be all fine. There's the Baku. Next up, I was inspired. I was inspired by John at Archipelago, and so we are going to use a funky rum. We are going to use a Haitian rum. We are going to use San Zange rum. San Zange means the angels. So this is the angel share. There we go. We're going to go 2 ounces. This rum, it doesn't smell like any other rum that I know. This was a gift, and it was a really nice gift. I have no idea how expensive this bottle is. I don't think it's all that expensive, but it's just an incomparably yummy, bizarre rum to have on hand. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and throw some ice into each of these and shake them up. So who wants what just on start? Are you going to want the Baku, you think? All right, so I'm going to start with the Baku then. All right.
Okay. I mean, we're all going to try all of them.
Right. We're going to do the same thing we did the other time with the previous drink. Sploosh. I'll load this up. That can go right in there. Classically, the daiquiri is double strained. And classically, it goes in a glass that's a little more stable than these, but we're going to give it a shot. Strainer. This is from Barfly. Barfly makes a really nice, small-handled hawthorn that has a really tight wire whisk. Really like it. We're going to double strain this. Now the grape syrup is also going to have a little bit of pectin in it because of the grapes, which is going to thicken up the mouthfeel of this just a tad. All right, these things can go here on the bar mats. This can go over here. And then I'm going to do this. See how that daiquiri came out. Oh, that's delightful. Yep, Star's going to like that one. Amanda, do you want to come up here, take a sip of this, and then pass that on to your dear wife? And then which one would you like to try next?
I would have what was the first one?
The Probitas? Okay. The other question here is whether or not, of course, folks are going to be able to tell the difference.
Yum.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is a really, really fine little daiquiri right there. I'm not sure I'm getting a lot of the grape off of it, but a little.
A little bit.
And let's see, the Probitas is a little heftier proof, right? 47%. Yep. Smells like a daiquiri. Double strain into our lovely little glass here. Stay. It's interesting how this was advertised. It was advertised as having all these little tentacle legs to make it more stable. In order for it to be more stable, all of those legs would have to be exactly the same size. They're not. So you'll note that even though I put the same amount of ice in, and I shook it about the same amount of time, the wash line is a little different. The wash line here is almost right up to the very top of the glass. Why is that? Higher proof alcohol. The higher proof alcohol will cause it to dilute faster. Oh, the rum really comes through on that one. There you go. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Nifty, nifty. Perks of being the bartender. You get whatever's left in the strainer. That's how it works. Okay. In there. So, we have a preference between the two?
I do like that. I like the other one too.
I like the Baku better.
Amanda?
They're about the same for me. I mean, they taste different.
They
But
do taste different.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Try that one again.
There we go. About the
you're
same
going
amount.
with the base. I would try the Baku a little bit more because it's more of a
Little-
lighter.
Because you don't have the heavier Jamaican in
Right,
there,
yeah.
it's like, huh, we'll see how the Zange does
Yeah,
then.
I was afraid of the Asian one.
Yep. So if the Probitas one is a little too strong in terms of the rum flavor, this big bottle of club soda right here, you could lengthen it out, add a little bubbles to it, and instant longer drink, lighter drink. Yeah, we are talking, in the 40% alcohol here. So this is a slightly smaller format drink. It's not as diluted as, say, your Spritz is. It's intended to be quaffed pretty quickly, so your daiquiris will do a hammer in on you. But if you wanted to lengthen the daiquiri with a little club soda, you could easily do that. It wouldn't be a problem, and transform that into kind of a spritzer-ish thing. Sure. I'm not going to be a purist and tell you can't. What I am going to do, though, is then take this, and I'm going to pour it in here. I will say that the grape syrup gives it a lovely pink color.
Yeah, I like the color.
I mean, ideally, your daiquiris are almost crystal clear, kind of like, they're not going to be crystal clear because you're shaking them, so they've got the ice crystals in them, but they should be clear. But if you're using a syrup that's got flavoring and pectin and that sort of thing in it, it's not going to be clear. Deal. If you're going to make this with barrel-aged rum, it's not going to be clear. Deal. Oh, see, I like that. Mm. Oh, right, I was going to put a straw in that. Oops. Y'all want to taste this one?
Yeah.
Amanda, if you want, I can just stick a straw in that instead. Would that be? Or actually,
I'll try it later.
there's some left in here. That's what we can do.
Ah,
Because, man, it's really handy having the shot glasses right here.
oh, that's yummy. That's very refreshing.
Thank
There you go.
I'll let you keep
Do I
it.
get,
Nice.
do I get this one?
Oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, it's yummy.
Why would it be bad?
Yeah. Well,
She was
feel
nervous.
more of the strength of it.
This one, Zange, is
The
it's only 43%. The Probitas is actually higher proof.
Okay.
But the Haitian right off the still
Yes.
funkiness of
yeah,
this.
that's what I was worried about was the strength of that.
Mm-hmm. Zange is a blend of Clarin and Agricole rums from a variety of select Haitian producers. So you're getting that Agricole flavor of it coming off from the sugar cane and the various Clarins. Yeah, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. So, but I mean, this is basically. Oh, you're going to do that for Amanda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, really easy to do. You can easily transform this cocktail by altering the proportions of lime juice and syrup. We are drinking these from a 1-to-1 syrup. If you were using a 2-to-1 syrup, you could easily back that off a little bit. I like my 2-to-1 syrups. I like them a little sweeter, but you can always increase the lime to make them a little more tart. So you could do, like, say if you're doing a 2-to-1 syrup, you can go half an ounce of your syrup and a full ounce of lime juice. Oh, did you just give her the rivers straight? Oh, you meanie. She'll never go near Clarion or Haitian rums again.
That's what I was expecting.
Granada. Grenada.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Rivers is in fact Grenada.
Ooh.
Okay. Bing! There's two. You got a Spritz. You know you can now do all sorts of different things with the Spritz. Daiquiri, you can change out the rums. You can do splits of the rums. You can change out the syrups, do whatever you want there. So you've got a whole menu to play around with in terms of both of those cocktails. Last but not least, the venerable, wow, it's already 8:15. Now I better get moving on this, is the venerable but still amazingly good gin and tonic.
Oh, yeah.
And so what are we going to do for a gin and tonic? Well, what do you expect us to do? We're going to do gins and tonics, but we're going to change it up just a little bit so that everybody can have something to their likings. What have I got here? I've got, okay, this is the Probitas Daiquiri. I think I actually like the Zanj a little more. The Wray and Ting can be a nice palate cleanser. Start with Wray and Tings on the evening. Yeah, that's a good call. Don't come back to them. Yeah, don't do that. All right, so what are we going to do? Okay, for the first gin and tonic, we are going to reach for a bizarre gin. We're going to go with the Ophir Oriental London Dry Gin. Now this has got botanicals infused in it, like all gins do, but these are Telecherry black pepper from India, kulabs from Indonesia, coriander from Morocco, etc., etc. Very different kind of flavor profile, but still at its base a London Dry Gin. Next, Sipsmith. Sipsmith makes a variety of different gins. I keep them in the freezer. And this is their straight up London Dry Gin. I love this gin as a straight up, no gosh, no kidding, London Dry Gin.
Why do you keep it in the freezer?
I keep them in the freezer because I like to keep them cold. Really, really cold. If anybody really likes martinis, gimlets, etc., the colder your gin, the better, I think. So keeping them in the freezer is just great, and it saves me a little bit of bottle space that I got back here because it's a limited amount of bottle space. And last but not least, we're going to go with the Drumshanbo slow distilled gunpowder Irish gin with Oriental botanicals in it, from the curious mind of P.J. Rigney. I have no idea who P.J. Rigney is, but the gunpowder gin we have tried in a number of cocktails, including a French 75. And it was really, really kind of nice. That wasn't kind of nice, it was nice. Okay, so gin and tonics are classically done in sort of a tall or Collins glass. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. But I have to go find them first. So we're gonna just disappear for a moment. Oh, look. Right here. Collins glasses, there you go. So what's in a gin and tonic? Ice, gin, tonic. Like I said, hot days, you don't want to be slaving over your cocktails all day long, so just do it this way. We could crack the ice or not, and I think in this case I'm not going to. I'm just going to put the ice in after I get it off of my metal scoop. I'll do. Yep, that'll work. It's not quite a full scoop. Like, I can't see. I know, it's hidden behind the bottles. You're probably also saying, hey, Pooch, what's going on here? I mean, this is Quarantiki. The closest thing you've gotten to a tiki drink is a daiquiri, which isn't really a tiki drink. I don't care. It's really freaking hot out and nasty, stormy. So you're going to drink whatever I put in front of you and enjoy it. How's that? Well.
Yeah, because sometimes you got to drink some classics.
Yeah.
You do. All right. So what are we going to do? Traditionally, you can do a 1 to 3. I think traditionally is a 1 to 3 mix. But I was looking at recipes today, and a lot of them are calling for sort of an elevated form of the gin and tonic, which has a 1 to 2 mix, right? So 2 ounces of gin, 4 ounces of tonic. Okay, I'm all right with that. We can do that. So we're gonna reach over, 2 ounces of Ophir gin. Just like that. Pour a little water in there. Rinse that around, toss that out. Now the Ophir goes off to the side. And we reach over and we grab the Sipsmith. Nice bottle. 2 ounces Sipsmith gin. There. Knock that over. Do the same thing. We're gonna pull that out. And then the Drumshambo. Now, when you're doing quote unquote an elevated gin and tonic, one of the things you can do is you can play around with the tonics you're using. You can also play around with what kind of garnishes you're going to put in there. So you could put in some mint leaves, you could put in some lime, you could put in, oh, I don't know, what are we going to put in? We are going to reach over, we're going to grab just the skin of a lemon. What? Squeeze that, drop that in there. You could also take juniper, right? Because classically, again, in order for it to be gin, it's got to be made with juniper. And so you could put juniper berries in here, and that would give you even more of that juniper aromatic pine tree-ish flavor to it. Do that. Oh, but wait, we're not done yet. Let's do the same thing with some orange. But gin and tonic is supposed to be gin and tonic. Yeah, it's an elevated gin and tonic. We're putting other flavors in here. So we're just gonna twist that, stick that in there. This orange peel this poor orange has seen better days. But that's okay, because it's gonna look really nice in the cocktail. Right? Add a little bit of citrus flavor to it. And we'll do the same thing here. That goes in there. I still have some of these little lime wheels left over right there, and there. So a little citrus goes in there. I have some mint that I washed earlier, and we're just going to pull off some leaves. Smack some mint. We're just going to drop that over the top there. Pull some leaves off. It's not the greatest mint in the world. I still don't know what's going on. We cannot get good mint. That's why we have to smack it, because it's all bad mint. Bad mint. Right. A couple more. We lost the music. What's going on?
Sorry.
I don't know. I'm not sure why the music stopped. Smack some mint around. There you go. Okay. Now we need some tonic. And I have all sorts of tonic here. I've got some Classic Q. I've got some Fever Tree Premium Indian. And I've got some also Premium Indian Fever Tree in a can. So why don't we open the Fever Tree Premium Glass Tonic Water thing? Sure.
Should you do all three of them with the same? Because what if you? Because the only thing you're changing is the gin, right?
You want me to do all this with the same?
Yeah.
All right. So we're not even gonna measure here. We're just gonna go there.
Yeah, I never measure with the tonic. I just top it off essentially.
All right. There you go. Yeah, we are mixing tonic a little bit because we're using the canned tonic and the glass bottled tonic, right? They're supposed to be the same, even though one's in a yellow can and one has a blue label. Both say Premium Indian Tonic Water. So I'm not sure what the deal is there. Yeah, that's close enough, right? In terms of size. Stick that in there. I also will sometimes, on my gin and tonics, I will cut up some lime cubes and just stick them in there, or even sometimes muddle them just a tad. There we go. So there we go. We got 3 little gin and tonics. We're going to stick some straws in those, and then we're going to send them around. So, looking forward to the Ophir, she says. She doesn't fear the Ophir, so the red straw goes in the Ophir.
My favorite color.
The green straw will go in the middle one. Sipsmith. Green, English racing colors. And then we have sort of a pink rose, purpley one to go there for the gunpowder. And then I'm going to do, what happened to my straw? It was here. Did I put it back in? Oh, I put it back in here. Here. All right, there we go here. That's a standard gin and tonic, no doubt.
Yeah. I've had the sips mix, so that's why I want to try
Much tartar citriuser. There's the Ophir. The Ophir's got some interesting spice to it. The coriander really comes out in that.
Yes, it does.
She's like, yes, it does. Put you back. Put you back right there. I do not want this.
That's grapefruit.
Which
I'll
one
try-
is grapefruit?
Right, that's the grapefruity one. Is
Yeah.
the gunpowder
Oh, yeah.
from Shambo.
That one's light, just a balanced mix.
That's a
Yeah.
gin and tonic.
Yes, that's just a straight up gin and tonic.
What do you want, hun?
Which one do you
I
want?
will come up and try.
Ooh, okay.
I will try Amanda's on my way.
Yes.
Which one did you pick?
I picked the Ophir and I used the straw so you can
Okay, I'll
sip
sip.
on the side.
I'll sip on this side.
Excuse me.
Well, that's nice.
And see, it's got the black pepper in it, and she doesn't like black pepper. So
I thought the gunpowder had the black pepper.
no, it's not.
This one?
Yeah, it's
oh,
no fear.
Okay.
Grapefruit.
Okay.
That grapefruity rind, much more citrus forward than either of the other two.
Yes.
And that's
That's
Ah.
gin and
I know.
tonic.
Yeah, that's the gin and tonic.
classic gin and tonic.
Sipsmith.
You know, I think
We all got our.
I
what
think
we
we all
wanted.
got what we wanted.
Yay for having different taste.
So there you go. Gin and tonic. You can play around with the garnishes for it. You can use bay leaves, thyme leaves, oregano, mint, whatever you would want to put in there, along with whatever citrusy bits. And you can increase or decrease the amount that you put in there. You can put berries in here to get other flavors. You can take dried spices like juniper berries or cloves or whatever to put in there to give it the spice that you want to just sort of zhuzh up your gin and tonic. In addition to switching around the gins and the tonics that are obviously going into that. Simple 2-3 ingredient drink. The garnishes make a big difference there. So you can do that with all 3 of these. So by giving you 3 cocktails and showing you different versions of each of those 3 cocktails, there's 9 drinks right there. If that doesn't get you through summer, then play around on your own with the variations of these. You don't even have to change the proportions at all. You just play around with the different ingredients that are in there. You know, check out a couple of different rums for your daiquiris. Check out a couple of gins for your gin and tonics. Check out a couple of different liqueurs or amaros that you happen to have lying around in the cupboard for your spritzes. Okay, maybe you don't want to use Strega, for instance. You know, you don't want to use. You could use chartreuse, but chartreuse breaks the bank on the like light and refreshing because it's not a low percentage liqueur. But anything that's a relatively low percentage, like I said, in the teens to low 20s, is making a fine spritz. You may have to play around with your proportions a little bit, depending on what you're putting in there. But certainly, Campari, Aperol. We learned the Italicus does a really nice thing. The Pasubio Amaro, I think it's an acquired taste. Really, I think the Prosecco and the Pasubio are hitting each other because they're both wine based, right? So, yeah, maybe that's not the most brilliant, but it's still lovely and light and refreshing, and I'd sit on the patio and drink it, but not right now because I'd be getting really wet. So there you go. There's 3 drinks done 3 different ways. There's 9 cocktails and a base recipe for each one that you can play with to your heart's content. That should get you through the summer. Not to say that I'm not going to be back next week doing something else. It's Memorial Day weekend next week. We've got more gaming in store. We've got more other things in store. So, my brain is going, well, I'm playing a lot of Legendary lately. Can I reskin Legendary to be Lovecraftian themed? Why, yes. Yes, I can. I'm not sure I'm going to, but it's like, it just sort of, I was thinking about it this morning and yesterday morning, and it was just sort of all falling into place. So, who knows? There might be a reskinning of Legendary as a game for Lovecraftian mythos. They've already got it for Big Trouble in Little China. I think there's a Sherlock Holmes one. I think there is a James Bond one. There's something else, and then there's the entire Marvel universe, which you can go in just about any way you want with that, from X-Men to Fantastic Four to the cinematic universe to Hero Noir, whatever you want to do. Legendary pretty much has you covered in that regard. Just, if you're playing the Horror of Horrors with Mephisto as your major mastermind, beware. They're probably going to kick your butt, unless you're really, really good. We're going to go ahead and sign off before it gets any later now, so that maybe we can get in another game before the evening is entirely done. So let's Pooch and Star and our studio guest Amanda
Bye.
saying we're going to sign off. Hopefully this has been some daggone good cocktails. And adios. See you next week with episode 110, which will be a topic that I haven't figured out yet. Yeah, it's me. We're going and doing some unplanned, unscripted, because we're always unscripted, but we're doing some unplanned content here. So you might recall, if you tuned into episode 109, that we had a bottle of Prosecco that we started with that was nasty because it had been in the fridge and we didn't know how long it had been in there. Nothing had been done to preserve it, and it was about half empty, and we tasted it and it was just dying. Well, I still have a bottle of Prosecco here because we opened a brand new one for episode 109, and apparently I can't sell anybody else on more spritzes because people have to drive or be at work tomorrow or something along those lines. So then there's the question of, well, how do I preserve this? What's the best way to do that? And what I had not shown you was that I got something new this week. So what I have is this can of Private Preserve, Napa Valley, the original inert gas aerosol wine preserver. Yep, that's what this is, right? It's interesting because it says 120 plus full uses, and then right underneath it says full can feels empty. And I got to tell you, it doesn't feel like there is anything in this can. So we're going to try this. I've never done this before, so we'll see how it goes. So you take a little plastic straw, you stick the little plastic straw in the nozzle here, and then you're going to take this and you're going to shove it down into the bottle, just like that, and you're going to grab a cork. I had a cork. There's a cork. And that cork's going to go like here. And so what does it say? It says, insert extension tube securely into nozzle with a twisting motion until it's seated. Okay, got it, done. Put tip of tube in neck of bottle midway down against glass. All right, pretty much done. Place cork at opening of bottle on straw. See illustration on the side where you can't see the illustration, but you can see me putting the cork here. And then we are going to, for partial 750 milliliter bottles, spray 1 long half second and then 3 short bursts. So half a second. Okay, so that came right off, so that didn't work there. So we're going to just seat this properly. Try that again. All right. Half second, right? So here we go, half second. There's a half second, and then 3 short bursts. 1, 2, and oh shit! 3, and then cork, right? Okay. So what you're supposed to do is pull this cork. Oh, jeez. Yeah, okay. Clearly there's enough gas in there because it was really hard to push that cork down. All right, we'll leave that. It's inert gas, so it shouldn't interact with the bubblies of the rest of this. You can pull the straw off of that, put that right back. So this is an experiment. I have no idea. We're hoping that this helps preserve that, and that if I can do that for Prosecco, I can do it for, things like vermouth, which would be great.
Greg says, put the can somewhere where someone doesn't throw it away.
Yes. Greg on How to Drink says, put that can somewhere where people won't throw it away, because it really does feel empty, and it says it feels empty, but it still means people throw it away. There you go. There's your bonus content, how to preserve a bottle of Prosecco using inert gas. We'll give it a shot. We'll let you know. Ask me next week, and hopefully we'll find out. So I'll talk to you later. Bye, all.